Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So this is the first episode of Top 10 Decks this week. In this video, I will be covering the top 10 decks based on their win rate. But before we do that, let us look at the top 10 decks based on popularity. You have to be careful in looking at the stats. You have to double check the win rate of the deck. So even if it is popular, if the deck is below 50% win rate, that means that a lot of people are playing the deck, yes, but it is losing a lot of games. Okay? So the top 10 decks based on popularity are Pirates, Misfortune Twisted Fate, Kindred Nasus, Katarina Elise Gwen, Ezreal Kennen, Lee Sin Akshan, Twisted Fate Nami Ionia version, Viego Evelynn, Vijax, Trundle Ornn, and another variant of Vijax. But I think there is a bug on these stats because if you look at this version of Vijax, you'll see the same cards similar to the top 10 Vijax deck. Let's look at the top 10 Vijax deck. Okay, so it is close to similar. Okay, so let's mention Lurk as an honorable mention for being the top 10 popular decks. Okay, so without further ado, let us look at the top 10 decks based on their win rate, and then I am going to at least explain how the deck works or how you can utilize the deck to your success. So for the top 10 deck based on their win rate, we have Kindred Nasus with 53% win rate. So let's look at the version of this one. So Kindred Nasus is a Slay deck. It utilizes the effect of Kindred to control the board, and they also are using Undying as the death father of this deck. So Undying can be used as a death father for the effect of Spirit Leech, Ravenous Butcher, and Hate Spike. Let us also look at this card, the Darkin Halberd. So this is an equipment card. So to play kill an ally, you may spend 10 mana to play me as Tarawa. Okay, so the Darkin Halberd is used to equip to a unit. Probably the good targets for this one is Kindred. You have to equip the Darkin Halberd for Kindred so that Kindred will be stronger. And for the top end or the finisher of the deck, we have Nasus and Atrocity. So this deck is very good when it comes to controlling the board and by the effect of Kindred. For top 9, we have Twisted Fate Nami Ionia variant. Twisted Fate Nami Ionia variant is a very hard deck to pilot because it is Ionia and it is also Nami TF deck. For the general win condition of the deck wins by putting a lot of stats to your elusive, and your opponent can no longer block your elusive. To do that, we have the effect of Nami and Fleet Admiral Shelly. Okay, so for starters, the gameplay of the deck is pass on turn 1, pass on turn 2, activate Double Trouble on turn 3 so that you can speed up the level up condition of Nami. And then you'll just spend your spell cards, your cheap spell to buff your elusive unit. So you have to at least protect your Nami or Fleet Admiral Shelly once you drop them on the field, so that you can utilize their effect to buff your elusive units. Okay, for the top 8 spot, we have what we call Red Gwen. So Red Gwen is still good right now. Red Gwen is a hollow deck that utilizes the effect of hollow keywords to have one of your units attack probably a fearsome unit attack and deal damage to opponent. And this version, it's running double harrowing because harrowing ends the game instantly. Gwen is very good when it comes to it her effect because uh, she drains 2 HP to opponent. Also look at the stats 3, 4. It is a little bit hard to remove Gwen because Get Excited cannot remove Gwen, so at least opponent needs to spend Crumble or Vengeance to remove Gwen. And even if you remove Gwen, we have Eternal Dancers to return Gwen or Harrowing to return all your strong units that could potentially end the game. Katarina is too off in this deck because Rally is good in a deck that has Hollow keyword. And for the spells, you have at least a little bit of agency in the form of Hate Spike and Ravenous Flock. Top 7 deck in the ladder, we have Taric Poppy. So Taric Poppy is a very good Demasha rally deck right now because of there are a very few Demasha decks that performs in the current meta, but at least we have Taric Poppy. Taric Poppy is very strong because if opponent cannot stop your combo, which is Taric plus Rally, opponent will lose on the spot. So that's the good thing about this deck. Okay, so to explain how the deck works, the general gameplay or the general win condition of the deck is you activate Rally on Taric and you equip it to another unit, and since the effect of Taric replaced to the other unit, you will have your Rally for the second time. So you'll rally twice, and depending on the size of the board, rallying twice is potentially game over for opponent. So that is how this deck works. Now let's have the top 6 deck according to win rate. We have Ezreal Kennen with 55% win rate. Ezreal Kennen is a deck that is created first by BBG, and after he created the deck has been hot fixed by the developers. Then BBG quit the game. How the deck works is you activate the effect of Kennen. So once Kennen is flipped, which is summoning 5 copies of a single unit in the field, which is very easy to do in the form of Eye of the Dragon, recalling your units, and then recalling your units to summon it again, or the effect of Kinko Wayfinder, calling Kennen or Vastayan Disciple. Flipping Kennen is not hard in this deck. And once Kennen is flipped, potentially, let's say you have 2 Kennens on the field, and you activate the effect of Ezreal, the playcast change to Ezreal allows you to win the game by just having win the game on burst speed by just casting your target spells like the Mark of the Edge from Kennen. So that's why the deck is strong, because it can win the game. It can win the game at burst speed, and it's very hard to interact with. For number 5, we have Viego Evelynn. So Viego Evelynn is the Viego deck of the current patch or of the current meta. So Viego and a combination of Evelynn, the husks allows Viego to flip very faster. And once Viego is flipped, it is always winning a winning board by having flip Viego on the field, because it will be hard for the opponent to interact with Viego unless they use a hard removal. And even if they use hard removal, if you have another Viego that is flipped, every start of the turn, you can control the strongest ally from the opponent. And if the strongest ally is a champion, you will kill the champion and you summon another mist. At that point, when Viego is flipped, your mist's stats ranges from around 6 to 7. So that is why this deck is very strong right now. Number 4, we have Sejuani Gwen. Gwen Sejuani is another version of Gwen that is strong right now. Even if the deck has at least a low play rate, its win rate is high because of how strong it is, and its win rate is high because of how strong it is and how it's easy to flip Sejuani in this deck. So to flip Sejuani in this deck, we have overwhelms like Ruthless Raider, effect of Task Speaker that could potentially, if played correctly, trigger 2 rounds for Sejuani. We also have Vulpine Wanderer that can allow us to give the stance swap that includes Ram stance, the deal 1 to all. We have Unspeakable Horror. So we have a lot of ways to flip Sejuani in this deck. We also have the effect of Gwen, which is draining the Nexus. Okay, so unironically, Gwen and Sejuani is a good pair. Okay, and so for the win condition of this deck, it is either Doom Beast win condition or dealing a lot of damage to opponent that once you attack as an overwhelm, and overwhelm is good with Hallow because the hallowed keywords will stack up to increase the attack of the overwhelm unit. Once you swing, you can either end the game by going for Atrocity. And so that's Gwen Sejuani. Number 3, we have Misfortune Queen or Scouts with 56.2% win rate but a very low play rate. So for our number 3 deck, we have Scouts. So this is the standard Scouts deck. It has come from a lot of adorations. From the start of Runeterra, Scouts has always been the Scout has always been the go-to deck for climbing because of how Rally works, and usually Rally is very strong if the opponent cannot interact with it, or if the opponent is not prepared for it, because Rally closes out the game. It's a little bit weird. This version is not running Rally. Let's look at the version of the top Scout player. So Raquel, let's look at the version of Raquel. Yeah, so Raquel is running triple Golden Aegis. Yeah, so this should be the correct version of Scouts. It has Rally because that is the main goal of Scouts, rallying and flipping Misfortune. So for number 2, we have a visual bug. It's Viego Evelynn. I already mentioned it as a top 4 deck, but there's a visual bug in the Runeterra.ar. So this is the number 2 deck according to win rate, the other version of Viego Evelynn. So for number 1, we have Pirates. So Pirates has evolved into a mid-range deck now. Before, Pirates is used as an aggro deck wherein you can potentially end the game on turn 5 by casting Decimate, or probably turn 6 by casting Decimate or Noxian Fervor, and having a lot of 1-drops in the early rounds. Now, Misfortune Twisted Fate is still aggro deck, is still aggressive, but They are now using the tool Riptide Sermon, very strong card. It is like a tri-beam. It is like a tri-beam. 6 mana tri-beam wherein you deal 4 to an enemy unit, you summon a 3/3 tentacle, and then you'll deal 2 damage to opponent. This is very insane, and this is the sole reason why Scouts is back to the top because of this deck. So the other cards of the deck are the standard pirates. The standard pirates card. We have 12 1 drop, 6 2 drop, and 3 4 drop. We have the Misfortune and Twisted Fate, and our spells are spells that could either draw a card or deal damage to opponent, or summon or spawn a tentacle. Yan. So that's it for the top 10 decks for this week. Next week I will be returning with a new video regarding the top 10 decks every week. So I will be doing this as a weekly thing. Please like, share, and subscribe for more. See you again next week.